This video brought to you in part by these fantastic sponsors.
Hey guys, what is up and welcome to the channel. I am the Shotgun Shogun and it's Wednesday, my dudes. And you know what that means? That means it's Epic 7 patch note time. And we have a lot of patch note stuff here. And I'm really excited for this. Sanctuary update. We're getting the Alchemist Steeple and the Steel Workshop revamp. Automation Tower. Champion Zerato. Keisei drop rate up. Challenge Quest. Ember Storm Pride. Not sure what that is, but we'll find out in a minute. Story journal update and UI update improvements, as well as that hero balancing that a lot of us have been waiting for. So, without further ado, let's hop into this. First up, Alchemist Steeple and the Steel Workshop revamp. So, Alchemist Steeple is going to be popping up into the Sanctuary. Now, one of the downsides is, what do you put your Breath of Orbuses in? We only have so many at the moment. I feel like a lot of people are just going to dump everything out of High Command and just put it into Alchemist Steeple because you don't want to get rid of the stuff in Steel Workshop. Forest of Souls, you need to be 330, and your heart is going to need to be 333. So that's pretty much how that has to go. And unfortunately, that is kind of rough for a lot of people because, I mean, yeah. So I'm hoping that more story comes out, the more you can put more things back into it, things like along those lines. So anyways, let's take a look at what we get here. You got to be ranked 15 in order to get that. It's like I said, it's going to be another that you got to put 3 breaths into each one. So when you max this out, you're going to have 20% less gold used when you're crafting your materials or stuff like that. Crafting charms. Expanded in the laboratory on the first one. Crafting materials. You can craft materials and then craft catalysts by going 3 into lab. Storage, you're going to increase your quality points by 20% on the last one. So, craft charms. Random equipment and accessory charms can be crafted when the Alchemist Steeple laboratory building is at level 1. So, you'll be able to craft these charms up. So, if you don't want to craft up... if you don't want to just keep feeding regular weapons to your characters, to your weapons to level them up, boom, easy peasy. Next up, oh, okay, so hold on, wait a second. So you're going to just dump a bunch of items into charms. I guess that'll save space. Select the ingredients needed to craft this. You may not be able to craft it. The quality grade is not high enough. Interesting. So I wonder if, like, you just shove all of your items into there and then this is used to like save space, something along those lines. Gonna have to do some testing on those ones because for the most part XP is flat across the board, so like a charm will give you the same amount of XP as like the actual item itself will. But anyways, craft limited equipment charm and accessory charms you can only do once a week. Interesting. This will reset every Monday. Craft high-grade craft materials. Okay, so wait, you can... Okay, so here you can craft these. So this is the one thing that I really was interested in because I have so many of these just sitting around. Not only that, but you can get these from guild members as well. So now you're going to have a lot of people requesting these. And, yeah. Yeah, so let's see, how to craft, blah, blah, blah. Select the ingredients you need to craft the item. You may not be able to craft this if the quality grade's not high enough. You can only use materials obtained from the same unit of hunts. So yeah, if you put these in here, you can get the higher grade ones. Now, eventually that's going to run out and people are going to be like, oh, okay, why do I need this? Yeah, it just seems like a way to... This seems like a way for like newer players to get the higher grade ones and then for veteran players to just clear out their inventory. Sorry, it's early in the morning for me. Alchemy recipes. You'll need recipes to craft materials that are higher. Okay, so you'll have to just unlock these items. So in order to get these, you're going to have to clear the Banshee hunts. So you'll have to clear at least hunt 7 on each of these in order to craft the higher pieces. So that's kind of nice. Like I said, for newer players, it gives you the chance to farm those to get the gear that you're kind of looking for, as well as transmute that up into higher things. Now, Craft Catalyst, this is the one that most people care about. This is the one that I care about the most. You're going to be able to actually craft Catalyst. So, also, first off, I would like this dev account where you have 19,999 of like everything, but look at, you only have like one epic catalyst. What on earth? Also, if you're having to use epic catalyst to create slime jelly, that is going to be an oof. I can't imagine, unless they give you like, oh, okay, hold on. So you're going to get 2 slime jellies from those plus an epic catalyst. Are you kidding me? There's no way that this is real life right here. Because who's gonna trade in an epic catalyst for 2 regular catalysts? Oof. So let's see here. So for well, okay, never mind. It looks like the amount of items obtained depends on the quality grade. More quality points will be returned for higher grade materials. So if you put in 80 points for wait, hold on, but they put in an epic catalyst up here and it said it only gave them 2. The more quality points will be required for higher grade materials. Okay, so you could put in 3 normal ones and get 90. All right. Anyways. Okay. What were the quality points required for each catalyst grade? 10 points for rare, 40 for epic. We're going to have to jump into this once it's like actually out and play around with this, because I think that the translations and the way that this is kind of going, they don't explain it very well. The more points will be more quality points will be required for higher grade materials, but they're not really showing you, like, it doesn't have a thing over here on the side at all that shows, hey, this is how many quality points these gave, I guess. So yeah, we'll have to jump into this like literally once it comes in. Also, you can only do rares once a day and epics once per week. Man, I kind of hate when they like time gate things. That's kind of like artificial inflating of these things. So a little disappointing, but let's see what's next. Steel Workshop and UI improvements. Players will now be able to craft accessories in the Steel Workshop. Fantastic. Amount of materials required, so 78 for 85. That's a pretty huge jump compared to just your regular materials, but or your regular weapons, but that's understandable. Improvements have been made to the UI, so you'll now be able to see all the crafting materials you'll have at once. Okay, so I thought that they were going to put in where you could craft specific things, but it looks like that's further on down the road, and that's a little disappointing, because now you're still going to get random sets, and that's one of the most frustrating things about crafting, is that you just get a random piece of gear. It could have the perfect substats for a speed set, but it will be a hit set, and you're like, oh, that's cool. So I don't know when they're going to put that in. They've talked about it, but I really hope that they get that in soon, because right now, yeah, crafting is pretty brutal, and even just the fact that you can craft accessories now is nice, but it's not the best, because like I want to just craft speed sets. I just want to craft HP sets. I just want to craft a certain set. The RNG is already bad enough that I'm going to get nothing but garbage anyways, but yeah. So anyways, automation tower. This is the tower, the new thing to farm that they've been talking about. You'll be able to enter the automation tower on the 1st of July. So it'll be in there. We'll probably look at it. Everybody will data mine it. We'll see everything that's in there. And then on the 1st of July, we'll be able to actually hop in there. Now, you do have to clear 5-1 first. But yeah, we will have this live on Monday the 1st at 3 UTC. So every every month it will reset. So yeah, it doesn't look like there is an entry to go in there. So you can just go in and clear Automation Tower. Just boom, right away. So let's see, 100 floors. In the Automation Tower, you will not be able to add guardians or supporters to your team. Also, you will consume energy when entering. Okay, so there is an energy resource. So, but that's still not bad. You'll still be able to drop leafs, energy, stuff like that to go in there. Now, some people complain. They'll be like, oh, well, if I do Automation Tower, then I can't do Wyvern. And if I do Automation Tower and Wyvern, then I can't do Side Story. And you know, you just got to pick and choose what you want to do. That's pretty much how this game is for energy and stuff like that. So I find it interesting down here. You've got the weekend monsters. I feel like that's going to be interesting. I wonder if they talk about that. There are 2 battles on every floor. Once you clear a floor, you can obtain Conquer rewards. Okay, fantastic. Monster debuff. If the monsters on the current floor are strong, you can use Stigma to weaken them. You can weaken them 3 times up to 30%. Stigma is only consumed if you clear the stage. If you do not clear the stage, Stigma used to weaken the monsters will not be consumed. The amount consumed is bigger the further you go. Okay, now that's interesting because, I mean, for the most part, like, I don't really use my Stigma for much. Now, I mean, whoa, hold up. These rewards are, yeah. So you can obtain main rewards every 10 floors. I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 Molagoras and 5 Moonlight bookmarks just for clearing this thing out. Not to mention the accessory charms, which are huge as well. That's amazing. So one of the big things is, like, if you're having a hard time on one of the floors, you can use that Stigma that you've built up, that you've stockpiled, in order to be able to clear that and get those rewards. Ranking, players will be ranked from 1 to 100 according on who cleared the 100th floor first. So you can just imagine that people, literally the first time, the day it comes out, are just going to be plowing through this as fast as humanly possible to get on that ranking. Your boy's probably going to be on that as well. So, all right. So new champion, Moonlight Zerato. So I'm really looking forward to him. I want to roll him really bad, but Moonlight or Mystics, yeah, my luck so far with that has been pretty solid. Pretty solid. So hero introduction: incredibly skilled in fighting, champion Zerato boosts a flawless win streak, largely thanks to his refusal to fight anyone he may be at risk of losing to. Hey, that's forward thinking right there. Also, didn't we just whoop him like real bad in a side quest thing? So probably doesn't have 100% win streak. So yeah. Frostmage Zerato has been trying to pick a fight with him for a long time, but Champion Zerato keeps making excuses to avoid it. Alright, so he's a Dark Elemental Mage capable of countering enemies who inflict debuffs. Not only is he immune to stun and sleep, but he can also avoid negative effects of debuffs by immediately transferring them to the enemy through a counterattack after they're inflicted on him. Using Cataclysm with Soulburn allows Champ Zerato to decrease defense and attack all enemies regardless of their effect resist, giving him an upper hand in battle. This literally just counters the current meta. Dizzy, ML Ball, even ML Aura, he's just literally just gonna just wreck them. This guy just shakes up the whole meta completely. Earthen Rage attacks the enemy with an Earthen Blast, transferring 1 debuff from the caster to the enemy. Now, why is he called Earthen Rage if he's dark? What? That would imply that he was an Earth character, but he's not. He's dark. Anyways, Iron Will, immune to stun and sleep, has an 80 to 100% chance to counterattack when attacked while debuffed. Amazing. I'm really big fan of that. 100% chance to counterattack when afflicted with a debuff, and things like Dizzy's just going to put 3 debuffs on him, and then he's going to just counterattack 100% of the time for 3 turns while he just transfers those debuffs to the enemy. really, really good. This guy is going to be, you're going to want to build this guy super tanky. Super tanky, to just literally just transfer debuffs back and forth. It's going to be pretty sweet. Cataclysm. After awakening, attacks all enemies by slamming rocks with a 60 to 75% chance to decrease defense and attack for 2 turns. Soulburn ignores effect resist. Now, I probably wouldn't bother with soul burning this very often, but you have an AoE defense and attack break. Not only that, but he's counterattacking and he's transferring debuffs to the enemy. This guy is going to be really, really busted. I'm going to build him super tanky. I'll probably put a Hell Cutter on him, actually. I want to make him like slow and fat, because I want that extra attack from Hell Cutter. I also want him to just counterattack. I just want him to have debuffs on him. I want him to counterattack a whole bunch and just be immune to everything. So big fan of this guy. So we got the Keisei drop rate up. As expected, we'll have Keisei for a week, and then next week is when we'll get like Wilbet, stuff like that. So boom, easy peasy. If you haven't, roll for her, because she's really good. She's an amazing wyvern killer. Not only that, but she's just pretty good in general. So definitely some good bait. But boys and girls, we're probably getting a limited servant next week, so want to probably hold on to your bookmarks for at least another week anyways. All right, so what's next? We got the Challenge Ember Store Pride, and this is where we are going to beat up on Fire Ricardo once again. Not that we didn't beat up on him enough during the story, but he's back for another round of butt whoopings. And what are we going to get out of this? We're going to get the artifact Crimson Seed. Now, it does bug me a little bit that we haven't gotten a champion, we haven't got a hero out of this in a while, because we just keep getting artifact after artifact after artifact. And don't get me wrong, like, a lot of the artifacts are really good that we've been getting, but like, just come on, give me somebody, give me a welfare character out of this. But what does Crimson Seed do? Crimson Seed has a 35% to 75% chance to dispel 1 debuff when attacked. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. I don't understand. I don't know why I would use this on a warrior over like a Strat Gauntlet for the effect resist, because I mean, you don't have to have the debuff on you before you're getting attacked. So kind of, I don't know. But I mean, I'm probably going to limit break one anyways, because there are some people out there that find some very creative ways to use these, and then I'm like, oh man, sure wish I would have gotten that, because totally blew, I didn't think about how to use this before I saw it. But it does give you a pretty beefy amount of hit points on this as well. So, I mean, that's kind of nice, I guess. So you do get a 20% chance to get it on Hell mode, and we'll probably get at least like silver transmute stones out of this as well. So, all right, so what do we, oh yeah. So no, we'll get a gold transmit stone. So, I mean, that's worth clearing it in the first place. So 3 transmit stones, 1 gold transmit stone. So story journal updated and journal UI improvements. So we're going to get improvements to the main UI journal, so you can see what all you have picked up. In here, hero journal, you're going to be able to filter things out. I don't know how often you go to this in the first place, but yeah, story journal's been added, so now you can go through the stories that you played once again, so that's pretty nice. If you collected all the stories for a specific chapter, you can receive a background pack. What? Background packs are available as a background in the hero detail window. Fantastic. That's kind of cool. That is kind of cool. Just the little added extras are pretty solid. So let's get on to the second part of the content. Now, you thought that was a lot of stuff, but okay, so we've got the hero balancing, and we've talked about this a little bit before, but let's go through everything that they finally just decided on going with. So Ravi, previously Demon's Blood, increased attack proportional to fighting spirit when attacked. Combat readiness increased by 15% and 5 Fighting Spirit is granted. Now, afterwards, increases the attack of the caster when they attack or are attacked. Effect can only stack up to 5 times. When attacked, increase combat readiness by 15% and 5 Fighting Spirit is acquired. So this is when you attack or are attacked. That's pretty solid, and it can stack 5 times. That's pretty nice. For Slaughter, before attacks with the double-edged axe, it absorbs some of the damage as health. Now attacks with the double-edged axe and absorbs some of the damage as health, and you acquire 30 Fighting Spirit instead of 10 Fighting Spirit. So you're going to get a lot more Fighting Spirit. And I want to say, like, when they were talking about what they wanted to do with this, they wanted you to be using your S3 more often. So having that extra Fighting Spirit is definitely going to help in that. Now, Maid Chloe, VIP treatment. Before, entertains all allies with VIP treatment, granting revive and increase attack for 3 turns. After awakening, entertains all allies with VIP treatment, reviving all dead allies to 20% health and granting revive for 3 turns to all living allies, and increases the attack of all allies for 3 turns. Well, Maid Chloe just went from like bottom of the ML 5-star tier to literally busted. Like, I don't really know how to say anything else, because like that is just ridiculous. Like, okay, so everybody who was dead is back at 20%, and everyone who's alive, you've got revive for 3 turns. So if I kill you in 3 turns, guess what? They're coming back too. Will bet when. Thank you very much. Judge Keisei, this is the one that I am the most excited about. So, before, attacks all enemies with a scythe, dealing damage with more enemies. Soul Burn increases damage dealt. Afterwards, attacks all enemies with a scythe with 75% chance to dispel a buff from each enemy. Damage dealt increases with more enemies. Soul Burn, grant yourself an extra turn. That means that Judge Keisei is going to be your new stripper, and what a stripper she will be, because you're going to do number 2 into number 3, and that means that not only are they going to be stripped, but they're going to be sitting on reduced turns as well. You're going to want to build her super speedy, super effective. Yeah, she's going to be really amazing if you have her. Now she's also going to be doing 11% more damage base on that. Wave of Light, before, attacks all enemies by distorting space and time with a 70% chance to increase skill cooldown 3 times by 1 turn. Now, after the buff, attacks all enemies by distorting space with a 75% chance to increase skill cooldown by 3 times by 1 turn. Cooldown, they're reducing the cooldown on that. So, yeah, really good. Not only do we get an extra 5% chance for that to hit, but we get a cooldown reduction, and it does 11% more damage. I'm really excited to see that. Now, I do wish that was like 100% chance, an effect resist, all that, but I will take what I can get. Arbor Villager. Now, a lot of people who had Arbor Villager are really excited about this patch, and I think that he's going to just be cleaving everybody to dead on the regular. Adjustments have been made to his skills. Compared to the basic stats, damage dealt has been increased by 30%, and that's huge. So, before, it was rapidly attacks 2 enemies with a sword storm, decreasing their combat radius by 15%. The lower the enemy's health, the greater the damage dealt. Now, rapidly attacks 2 enemies with sword storm, decreasing their combat readiness by 15%. So we don't have to even bother with like, oh, the lower health they are, the more damage that he does, because now he just does flat 30% more damage. Dark Contract, before or after receiving lethal damage, regenerate to 100% health, grants full focus, and resets cooldowns for Darkblade. Now, after receiving lethal damage, caster regenerates to 100% health, 100% combat readiness, increased attack for 2 turns, full focus, and resets cooldown for Darkblade. Now, this is really rough. I feel like one of the ways that you are going to need to kind of deal with this is you're going to have characters that do double turns, because otherwise people are just going to literally build him with nothing but attack and crit, and they're just going to let him die. He's going to come back and just like one shot your whole team. It's going to be interesting to see how he is dealt with. All right, so adjustments have been made to the skill Darkblade. Compared to the basic stats, damage has been increased by 30%. Now, before attacks all enemies with a 75% chance to decrease hit chance for 2 turns. When focus is full, consumes it all, it increases the chance and damage dealt. When the enemy is defeated with this skill, cooldown does not occur. Damage dealt increases proportional to the amount of the enemy's lost health. Now, attacks all enemies, decreasing hit chance for 2 turns. When focus is full, consumes it all, increasing damage dealt. When the enemy is defeated with this skill, cooldown does not occur. Again, this is just going to be really, really busted, because you're not going to have a cooldown on it. Because chances are he's going to kill at least somebody, and then he's just going to follow up and kill somebody again. So it's tough. I feel like he's going to be really rough to deal with. I think that Lil Bet is going to be literally a requirement in PvP, because you have people reviving, stuff like that. And they've already said that her main job is to just go, you no longer exist. You can't come back to life. Now, it does say, it's interesting because it does say caster regenerates to 100% health and 100% combat readiness. Now, I don't know if that's a revive or if that's a regeneration, so we'll have to see afterwards. But Sigrid, a lot of people don't use her. Adjustments have been made to the skill Sever before attacks with the Scythe, with 35% chance each of inflicting... What? Attacks with the Scythe with 35% chance each of inflicting 2 bleed effects for 2 turns. Okay. Now it's up to 50% chance of inflicting 2 bleeds for 2 turns. I think they need to translate these better or explain better what it does. Adjustments have been made to the skill Smash. Smash before it batters the enemy with a Scythe, with a 100% chance to make them unhealable and causing bleeding for 2 turns. When the enemy's health is less than 50% after an attack, a Sever is activated. Now batters the enemy with a Scythe, with 50% chance to each inflict bleed and make them unhealable for 2 turns. When the enemy's health is less than 50%, activate Sever with an extra 100% chance of inflicting bleed. So you're just going to be bleeding all over the place. Guillotine inflicts lethal damage to the enemy, piercing their weak point, penetrating defense by 10% for each debuff inflicted upon the enemy. Now it inflicts that lethal damage, penetrating defense by 30% with an additional 10% for each debuff inflicted upon the enemy. And that's actually really good, because you can't necessarily guarantee that you're going to have any debuffs on them or how many debuffs you're going to have on them. I feel like teaming her up with maybe like a Baiken or a Haste or something like that will be really good, just because you can get all of those bleeds going like crazy. Now, Violet, who I literally didn't think needed any buffs or any retooling in the slightest, got some buffs and retooling. So Violet prepares for a duel by recovering health, granting an extra turn to the caster. If the skill's on cooldown, increases evasion chance by 30%. After successfully evading, gains 1 focus and counterattacks. Yeah, so that was already pretty busted. Now it prepares for a duel by dispelling 2 debuffs, recovering health by 15%, and granting an extra turn. If this skill is on cooldown, evasion increases by 35% after successfully evading counterattacks with graceful cut, and gains 1 focus. So not only is he getting extra evasion, but he's removing 2 debuffs as well. So this is pretty broken. He is already really busted in PvP, and I feel like he's going to just be even more busted, especially in Guild Wars. Purges. Now, this one's pretty cool, because I don't know too many people that use regular Purges ever. So it'll be nice to see if he comes back. So Falling Strike mows down the enemy with a greatsword with a 50% chance to decrease speed for 2 turns. Now mows down the enemy with a greatsword with a 50% chance to decrease speed and decrease combat readiness by 20%. So yeah, that's going to be pretty interesting. Counterattack Purges is going to be very, very interesting to see if that works. Corvus, and this is a huge buff to this very, very mediocre servant. Adjustments have been made to the skill Fury's Attendant. Before, strengthen the caster with Fighting Spirit for 3 turns, recovering health, increasing defense, granting an extra turn. Shield Slam increases damage dealt, stunning the enemy for 1 turn. Macerate decreases the enemy's combat readiness twice when attacked, acquiring 10 Fighting Spirit. And then this Soulburn would decrease the cooldown by 2 turns. Now, strengthens the caster's Fighting Spirit for 3 turns, recovering health and increasing defense for 3 turns. Grants an extra turn. Shield Slam decreases damage dealt, stunning for 1 turn. Macerate decreases the enemy's combat readiness twice. Acquire 10 Fighting Spirit when attacking or attacked. So this is also really nice because you get that Fighting Spirit. You get that Fighting Spirit when being attacked as well. So that is pretty solid. The Soulburn, the amount of recovered health is doubled, and there's apparently no cooldown. So that is it's going to be really interesting to see how this one works out for him. I know that there are a couple people in my Discord who are super excited about this. Cartusia, before Predatory Roar, attacks all enemies with wild energy with a 75% chance to decrease attack for 2 turns before recovering half of the caster's max health. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's max health, with additional damage increase when the caster is less than 50%. So now, attacks all enemies with wild energy, healing the caster by 50% of max health before granting increased defense for 2 turns, with a 75% chance to decrease attack of the enemy for 2 turns. Damage dealt increases proportional to the caster's max health, with an additional damage increase when the caster has less than 50% health. Cooldown 4 turns. So this is a little bit of an extra buff here. I don't know too many people that use vanilla Cartusia over like Assassin Cartusia, but we'll see if this actually gets him any sort of play. Now, Lots, I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Lots, and he is a very, very good speedy boy healer. Not too sure why people don't invest in him. I've went up against some very, very annoying teams, especially on defense, with this dude on there. So before regen, recovers allies' health with healing magic, increases the combat readiness by 100%. Amount recovered is proportional to the allies' max health. Now, using healing magic to recover health and increase combat readiness by 100% of an ally before increasing the caster's combat readiness by 30%. Amount recovered is proportional to the allies' maxed health. So this is kind of like Oxlot's S2. So instead of increasing attack and readiness by 100%, it heals them and increases attack by 100%, as well as Lot's 30%. So he was already super fast, but now he's just even faster. It's going to be interesting. I've already got a couple of teams planned around this. Oxlots, Lots, and a couple of other people. It's going to be kind of interesting and pretty ooftacular. So we'll see. So anyways, he also got changes to Serenity. Before, use strengthening magic to increase the combat readiness of all allies by 20% and grant continuous healing for 3 turns. Now uses it to increase to recover health, increase combat readiness. Hold on. It's literally the same thing, isn't it? Before, uses strengthening magic to increase the combat readiness of allies by 20% and grant continuous healing for 3 turns. Now, uses strengthening magic to recover health, increase combat readiness. Oh, okay. So this is okay. Never mind. I missed the first part. So literally, it's a heal, a regen, and combat readiness for 20%. This is yeah. Lots is going to be pretty busted, man. I'm really looking forward to this. Because I mean, before he was already pretty busted because it was heal, like regen, and now he's gonna heal and regen. So yeah, pretty awesome. Bloodblade Karen, so quick, like they're gonna increase the amount of damage and health that she gets back. So Sequential Cutter quickly strikes with an enemy with a sword, absorbing health proportional to damage dealt. Caster's combat readiness is increased by 50% if the enemy is defeated. So they're just doubling the amount of health that you get back on that one. Blade Art Dragon, before attacks all enemies, sacrificing 20% of the caster's health, grants the caster an extra turn when the enemy is defeated. Now attacks all enemies, sacrificing 20% of the caster's health, grants the caster an extra turn when defeated. Oh, they just reduce the cooldown on that. So not only that, so you get a reduced cooldown and you're getting more health back from Sequential Cutter. So let's see what other improvements and bug fixes, heroes, adjustments have been made so that the correct description for the soul burn effect for Sage Ball and Sezen's skill Eye of Death is displayed. Yeah, no one really cares about that because everyone hates that guy. So typos have been fixed in Fallen Cecilia's skill Strong Instinct. An issue where attacking an enemy using a non-attack skill Soul Bad Guy's passive skill Volcanic Viper is activated, causing him to attack a team member has been fixed. Finally, that one was pretty funny to watch, though. An issue that caused Arbor Villager's illustration not to be displayed properly has been fixed. An issue that caused Angelic Mont's standing motion not to be displayed properly has been fixed as well. Let's see. An issue that caused Wind Rider to provide an attack increase the turn an enemy was killed instead of providing the increase the following turn has been fixed. Wind Rider recall information. Availability after the maintenance. All enhancement details will be reset once this artifact is recalled. Will return epic, greater, lesser artifact charms. So if you put a bunch into Wind Rider, you can actually recall it. So yeah, interesting. Some monster stuff, adventures. Let's see if there's anything else here. Some Abyss stuff. Improvements have been made so that energy obtained from monthly pack 2 is sent to the mailbox. Okay, that's kind of cool because like sometimes you'll log in and they'll just go over and then you won't have all of that. So yeah, there you go. Let's see if we have any information on like packs or anything along those lines, because there usually is packs and stuff that Arena 2 is closing soon, so make sure that you get in on make sure you finish this up. So Arena 2 season ends on the 28th, 7/28, so next month. So you have a month in order to get your arena season stuff done. So make sure that you're getting that. Make sure you're getting that there. Get your equipment. Get your stuff out of there. So we'll have the next part of the arena starting the 11th of August. So that's interesting. At least they gave us a date. Before with season 1, they were just kind of like, and this is over. Good luck. We'll tell you when we decide to put that back up. So I don't see anything in the way of packs or anything like this. Oh yeah. Here we go. Boom. Free unequip event. After the 27th all the way till the 30th, you can unequip just about. You can unequip everything, man. 3 days. 3 days of move your gear around. Literally, whenever I do this, I unequip absolutely everything that I have from everybody, and shuffle my gear around so that I have things figured out. So that is huge. I feel like they're gonna put some packs in here, but they haven't put anything in as to what packs they're gonna put in. So there'll be some new packs. We have all of these summer event stuff that is going on, so make sure you're checking in on that stuff. And yeah, anyways, that's the patch notes, man. This is really long. There's a lot of stuff to go over. And yeah, I will see you guys after the patch. Let me know in the comments what you're most hype about. Do you think that we'll get a little bit next week? Do you think she's Connection Hero? Do you think she's going to be limited? I've seen some theories that she's a 4-star grass warrior, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, guys, if you like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash that bell notification, drop me a like and a comment, and I will catch you next time. Take it easy, heirs. Peace.